In this video I'm going to cover the Acer Edit IEDs. So the first half I'll just quickly explain how to set them up in the editor, and then the second half I'll go through how to use them in game. If you just want to skip to the in-game part, the time to skip to is on the screen now. You need to have Acer Edit enabled to be able to use it. The IEDs spawn off a zone. The IEDs can be found under the functions, Acer Edit functions. We've got an IED, and then you can have as many pressure plates as you want. Put a couple down. Put 3. There we go. So to link them up, you get them working, just link the pressure plate to the IED and the IED to the zone. So when that zone's activated, they'll all spawn. Recommended to have a smallest zone that you possibly can. A lot of these, especially the buried ones, are really hard to see, so you can have a pretty small zone or spawn without being noticeable, basically. So looking at firstly the pressure plate settings, there's really no settings. I've put in some options to change the radius as to where it'll detonate. Stepping on a pressure plate, that's the size you want. Same for the IED, has the same thing. The IED object types, so you can see there the first one is buried. It's basically a sand patch, and that's what the pressure plates will look like too. The half buried one is the bomb in the sand type one. Looks a bit crappy on flat ground there, but if you put in grass and stuff, it looks good. And then you've got the hidden large and hidden small. So they're the mines in the garbage. And then the last one is a buried decoy. So it'll look exactly like that, but when the EOD comes up and inspects it, it'll just be nothing found. You can use them as suspicious dirt, so you can put them around and then have a real one in amongst them or whatever. I'll leave that up to you. None of these object types determine how big the explosion is going to be. This is all done by the yield of the blast. So all these types are really just what it looks like. Just be aware too that for the buried ones, when the EOD investigates it, he'll actually dig it up and it will become the half buried one after he's sort of dug it up a bit. So if you've got it on a flat ground like that, it's going to look stupid. And there's also the practice setting there, so if you're setting up like an EOD range, or you want to put a couple of IEDs at the base for the start, just for the EODs to warm up on or something, you can just put that to true, and instead of blowing up, it'll just give you a hint saying it blew up, and then it will reset the IED so they can have another crack. And that's pretty much it for the IEDs. I'll just quickly cover the VB IEDs. So vehicle-borne IEDs, just any vehicle, so anything that's classified as a car, which includes all the trucks and bikes, I'm pretty sure as well. If you've got a car, I'll put 2 down. If you go into the car settings, you can see under the Acer Edit options, you've got vehicle IED. You can just change that to true. So I've got one true, one false, and I'll show you what they look like. For that to work, it needs to be spawned through Acer Edit, so make sure it's spawned off a zone as well. And those vehicles too, even though it's set as an IED, you can still put a dude in it, you can still drive around, you can attach C4 or put barrels in the boot or do whatever you like to the vehicles. It just has to spawn with Acer Edit, and it's an IED. And the way they work is when the car dies, it goes boom. The only other way it's going to go boom is if the EOD is working on it and he messes up. They haven't got pressure plates or anything like that. Maybe later. Let's have a look, firstly, what that looks like in game. So one thing there you go, that's what it looks like in game when they're spawned. One thing I really didn't cover is the blast sizes. So small is like an anti-personnel mine. You pretty much have to be right on top of it to be killed. You still got frag wound around it. Like I'd probably get heavily wounded if that IED just there was a small, which I think it is. The other one, and you probably need to factor that in, think about it when you're doing your pressure plates, because you sort of want the person to be killed or heavily wounded that stands on the pressure plate, so you've got to have, depending how far away the pressure plate is, you probably want to have the right size blast. So the medium is, a bit further, let's say 5 to 10 meters or something like that. The large is, you're probably going to be dead within 10 meters easily if there's no cover, up to 15. And then the huge one can be up to 30 meters death, if not heavily wounded, somewhere in between 20 and 30. I'll just set this off and then I'll cover the in-game stuff so you can see. So you can see there I was pretty close, but because it's small, I'm just wounded heavily. Alright, covering the in-game aspects of the IEDs. First thing you probably want to do is like how to find the buggers. So if you pull out your ASOR mine detector, you can see, oh, we've got one already. So detection range is fairly good. So I'm spotting that pressure plate already. And you can see the angle is quite sharp. So when you're walking, you probably want to do a good sweep as you walk. So if you're coming in this way, you want to, you can see you can miss it quite easily. And that's why most people, when they're mine detecting, will use the walk pace. So you can give it a good sweep as you go. And hot tip, when you get a beep, stop. Because if you are going fast, you can get quite close to the IEDs before you stop. So you can see it gets faster as you get closer. So if you're in thick grass or something and you can't see where this IED is, you know, just fan around. You'll soon pinpoint its direction. Alright, so you found it. Now you got to interface with it. So let's do the pressure plate first. So it's just an async action, and you need to be fairly close to it, probably closer to the IED, but you can see here you got to get pretty close in. All the actions are trying to simulate the actions that you'd do. So you found a suspicious looking dirt patch and you want to check it out. I'll just freeze time here, so I'm not waiting for bars. So I've found a pressure plate. Now these options here is what you can do to a pressure plate. So the top one there, the reveal connected IED, is trying to simulate you locating the cable that's leading away to the actual IED. So you'd follow that cable and find the location of the IED. If you do that, what it does is it sticks a flag somewhere pretty close to the IED, and then if it's far away, or you'd look around like where is it, and then you go, okay, the flag's over there, and you get out your mine detector again and locate the actual IED. You can disable the pressure plate while you're here. So the pressure plate used to detonate the IED if you tried to disconnect it, like lapse circuit type thing, but doesn't do it at the moment. I might bring that back in later. We'll see. Coming up here, okay, suspicious dirt mound again, but we think it's the IED, so let's have a look. And we discovered an IED, and that's what I was talking about before with the half buried coming in. So now we can remove the casing of the IED, the container, and get access to the internals of it. So you can see now we can start doing actual diffusing things. And I've tried to make it sort of, something that you would do, bypass a circuit so you can disable the detonator and essentially disable the device. So I'm going to expose the wiring so I can hook up the bypass, cut the detonator. And obviously if you get these wrong, you're going to die. And you might slip anyway and die. And then once you remove the detonator, you've disabled the device. Actually, I should have shown you, but once you've cut that, it's it. It's disarmed now. Pressure plates don't work. And the dismantling cleans up all the pressure plates and all that as well. So you don't need to go around and package one up and do all the actions. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the IEDs. We'll just cover quickly the vehicles. So all vehicles will have an inspect. It's just on every vehicle now. So you can, it's just meant to simulate you walking around a vehicle going, is this a dodgy vehicle? It looks dodgy. I might have a look around. But that's what the action's trying to simulate anyway. So nothing found, not a sus vehicle. I'm just going to leave it. Have a look at this one. Okay, I've seen a suspicious wire coming out of the bonnet, something like that. That's what that's meant to simulate. So let's see where this wire goes. And this is, so you don't need to be laying down for this stuff. This is, the vehicle, you can just standing up, whatever, reach the actions. You can do this without being EOD, but the EOD's got a far better chance of being successful. And just in case this does go off, I'll just say that the vehicles have a different detonation thing. So basically the detonation can be instantaneous, or it'll give you a warning that it's going to go off. Well, I haven't got sounds in yet, but I'll put some sounds in soon. If you get the warning, start running, because you've got a random amount of time. You might have plenty of time to get away, or you might have a couple of seconds. So anyway, so I'm going to just see what this wiring takes me. All right, so I found an IED in this vehicle, and now I've got access to it, and I can start cutting And obviously I need to cut it in the right order. So for now I'm just going to cut it in the wrong order and just show you the detonation. And this order will come up in ops, so you'll get told what that is. Triggering. And the vehicles are the huge explosion. That was it. That's pretty much the IEDs covered in a nutshell. If anyone's got any suggestions or ideas, pass them through. I've already got a few that I want to get in, but yeah, that's the gist of it for now.